I had actually intended to be on maybe a couple hours ago, but I had kind of a rough night, went back to bed, and ended up sleeping through the time that I was planning to stream. So um, this week is going to be kind of come and go as far as the times. I'm sure I'm not going to be as sort of regular as I usually am because both my son and my husband are home for the holidays. So, it's vacation time from the school, and my husband decided to take vacation the whole week as well. So, um, he does that mostly because he knows that as the big day approaches, I become more and more anxious about making sure everything's, kind of tidied up and we've got all the foodstuffs in order. And like a day or two ahead, we usually do any kind of prep that we can do, like chopping veg or baking cookies or, whatever I have planned. And he usually likes to kind of minimize my stress by being home to kind of take care of a lot of those things. So he's downstairs right now cleaning some of the areas that I, you know, have been fussing about. Like typically, we have an island in the kitchen, and often it becomes one of those places where the mail collects or book papers from school or just little things, and it becomes a horrible mess. And it's one of those things you can clean every day, and suddenly it's like it's just sprouted another mountain of mess. And so he's probably tackling that and a few other problem spots that we have. That like we have a spot where we put all of our mail that comes in every day, and I set it up so that supposedly every week we would go through it, put away the junk mail and sort out, the bills and all that kind of stuff. And it gets more like it piles up bigger and bigger every time. So that's some things that he's probably going to be working on, among others, while I'm up here streaming so that I can have a little quiet time up here to myself. So thank you for great husbands like that. Anyway, before we get started, I've got a list of things I wanted to talk about. Reminders about the housing competitions. We have the um, uh, the one for Entity that is being hosted by Black Dagger Society. That's the registrations for that have been open for a good while now, and the last I checked, there was quite a few entries already. So I'm excited to see how that one goes. There's also another one that's running in tandem with that one is being hosted by Venus Rising. It is actually open to both regions, so we're already seeing a lot of the same entity players that have entered on Black Dagger Society also entering there for Venus Rising. Unfortunately, there haven't been too many EU players that have been posting theirs yet. I did see one. Annie has posted her home. Hey Bones, good morning. Thanks for joining. So hopefully Annie will start the tide rolling in and we will see more and more entries. It is open to both exiles and dominions, so it doesn't matter where you are on that. If your house fits the criteria for either one, then hey Zed, welcome to the show. Um, then you're encouraged to submit your home for inspection or judging or whatever how you want to say it. You have until the 27th of December if you're planning to uh, participate in Venus Risings. I don't off the hand remember what Black Dagger Society's due date is, but I do know that Venus Risings is the 27th of December. That is the last day you can submit your home. So not an awfully big window. Most people have been anticipating, and of course we've kind of been hyping it up for well over a week now, giving people plenty of heads up to know that hey, it's coming, so be prepared. And so now this time to do those last minute additions to your home with any of the new winter decor that you want, and get those submissions in. After the 27th, it'll be judging time. Myself and the others will be going around to the homes and checking them out and scoring them based on a number of criteria. And on the 10th of January, I think it is, that's when the winners will be announced. I do know that we're planning to have some extra winners. I don't know if Nelly has updated the thread to specify, but aside from the first place winner and the runner-ups, we are going to be holding some honorable mentions that will be winning some plat prizes. So, it's not all going to be just the creme de la creme. It's going to be a few extras that get some attention as well. And of course, Nelly is planning on videoing and screenshotting every entry, so everybody's going to have a little bit of showtime. Okay, another thing, just kind of a public service announcement kind of thing is if you have a plot and you open it up to roommates, choose them wisely. Um, like with anything else, it's almost like with guilds. If you have your guild bank set up so that everybody has access to it and their access is unlimited, etc. Uh, be very cautious about how, what kind of things you put into those areas and stuff like that. Same goes for roommating people for your plot. Um, make sure not necessarily that the people are vetted, but that you trust them. Um, and, even if they're best friends for life, make sure they understand the do's and don'ts of being a roommate. The reason I bring this up is because a fellow builder uh, recently experienced a bad experience with a roommate. Apparently, the roommate got a little drunk, decided to build, and ended up creating the entire thing. So now they're in the process of rebuilding. It was a nice winter plot. I can attest that it was a very um, cute little town kind of theme, and now it is gone. I checked in this morning, and it doesn't look. I mean, it looks similar to the bones of it is starting to look a little similar to what it was before, but it's one of those things that it's like, ooh, that's gotta hurt. Because I'm sure they spent hours and hours working on it. And of course, I contributed a little bit. It was a build that they had invited me to pick a room from one of the apartments, and I got to decorate, the room. And I was in the process of doing that as well. And that's when she contacted me yesterday and said, "Bad news, the place is gone." So. Um, One thing is to be cautious about who you roommate, but also invest in taking the time to save your plot regularly. Even if you don't roommate, you yourself can maybe accidentally click something you don't mean to, and uh, take the time to invest in downloading and using Katya's Builder Toolkit add-on or Laments. I think Laments does the same thing. They do a full plot save. Do that regularly, because I guarantee you it will save you a lot of heartache if you do that and you're able to recall it when something like that happens. Whoops, trying to say hello to a Gildian. But yeah, it's one of those uh, live and learn kind of lessons. Now they know. And they did say that they use Katya's add-on, but that every time they save a set and then they come back the next day, the set is gone. I do know that Katya usually advises specifically for certain other functions, but I use this kind of thing no matter what I'm doing. If, for instance, say you are working on a set, you save the set, uh, and then maybe get DC'd or some other reason you exit the game besides the usual manner, it's often where that set doesn't actually get saved to disk, to your little apps data file or whatever it is. The way to make sure that it does is once you save a set, you've got it copied in there or whatever, do a /reload UI, and that will typically, I've not had any problems with it, usually ensures that whatever you've set up will be remembered. Because I myself have put in a set and then I've left in various ways and then come back and I'm like, where did it go? And I have to save it again. Um, so just do a reload UI right after you've done a particular save or set up a build set that you want, just to make sure that it goes to the file. Um, and if you do that, if you kind of pick carefully who you roommate and you also save your work on a regular basis, then I think that will hopefully prevent the majority of those kind of issues. It's not something I hear every day, of course, and I'm roommated with several people that uh, have had issues of their own that weren't exactly related to roommate. Sometimes it's just the glitch in the housing system that pops up unusually and it causes some problems. But this is the first time that I've actually seen firsthand when a roommate, it goes bad, and uh, it's just one of those things that you wish you could, kind of turn it back. And like I said, if they had had it saved in the sets, that would have been a very perfect opportunity to use that. But now they know to do that regularly, and of course I gave them the tip about the reload UI to get that sorted, so hopefully that does not happen again. But I just wanted to mention it to kind of give others a fair heads up in the instance that they're sharing their plot with somebody, and even if they're not, really utilize the extra tools that you have on hand and save your work often, because you just don't want that to kind of go poof. You know, um, who knows what kind of stuff might come up, and or because I know for a fact, the little place decor list, that big button, I guess, kind of gets a little shiny to some people, and I've done it a few times myself on, earlier on smaller stuff that really was just kind of testing junk, but so I know it can happen, but anyway, so that's that. The next thing is, of course, we want to do the Advent reveal for day 21. Before we do that, though, we will recap the 2 days that you guys have missed because, I don't stream on the weekend, so we'll go over, excuse me, the reveals for those days. I tweet them every day, but not everybody follows my tweets. So, day, what was that? 19, I guess, was the shopping bag or whatever kind of gifty thing of gifts. It's like my version of the Winterfest bags that we have now. We didn't have them before, so it was a little awkward for me trying to come up with something. I didn't want to use square things. I wanted it to look like, a mushed up bag kind of thing. So, hey, Nelia, thanks for joining us. And so I went with, you can't tell what it is, it's backpacks. I've got one that's turned kind of facing down so that the handles of the backpack are being the handles of the sack or the bag. And then just got several kind of squished in together to kind of get the shape that I wanted. And then, of course, just tucked in some pieces. It's not actually hollow, of course, like the actual Winterfest bags, but just tucked in a few pieces to make it look like it's stuffed to the limit. And then, of course, I wanted some kind of a label or something. And so Protostar, why not? So that was day 19. For day 20, we had the Sprig of Holly. Um, Pretty simple. It's just green pillows and red balloons. Balloons for the little berries and pillows for the leaves. Um, I think it worked out pretty good because just due to the shape of the pillow, it kind of looks like those little pointy bits that always prick your finger when you go to touch it and everything, because Holly's got those little needle bits on it. Really simple, just probably nothing fancy. Most of my little habit things are pretty easy to make, which is kind of the point. I wanted to kind of keep it basic. Now I say that, and I kind of know, I think I know which one's coming up next, and I have to say, this one's a little bit more elaborate, um, but it's also, I think, one of my favorites. Um, but I want to say the reason I kind of got carried away with it is I didn't build these in order that I'm showing them. I like started here and then I'd go over here and then I put one up here and I just kind of randomized it because I didn't want to, um, you know how when you're building something and you start coming up with ideas, your first ones aren't so awesome. And then as you get a little bit more practice in how you're putting things together, they become a little better, a little better, a little better. So these are really built out of order. And like I think some of the first ones was the reindeer and the lollipop, and some of the later ones was like the doll and the wreath and the gingerbread guy. So you can kind of tell some of the ones that's a little bit more detailed or a little fancier looking. Those are the ones that I probably built towards the end. And I think that's one of these. So today's reveal, let's just pop it open here, is, yes, it is the open hearth or the fireplace scene. Like I said, this is one of my favorite ones. It's probably because it's similar. Well, wait a minute. Let me get rid of the little mini me here. He wants to hop inside there, so let's just put him to bed for now. I love pets, but this is one of the cases where you don't want them around because they kind of get in the way. Um, but it is a Christmassy fireplace scene. Um, Let me just say what I used here. But one of the reasons why I like it is because it's kind of like the the paintings that I've done in the past. I kind of like that way of using the items. So this is kind of an example of that. The bricks for the fireplace is naturally the pile of bricks. Um, the logs, I believe, are actually the trim the side edge of it of the water trough. Of course, the stockings are bananas. You got the habanero bloom for the flowers and the overgrowth for the green trimming here. The profile portrait for the picture hanging above the fireplace. I think, yeah, it's a miniature mythical creature's hat for his little Santa cap. And probably, yeah, snowy tree curved and the same for the trim on the hat, the white trim. And of course, just an orange floor for the wall in the back. I didn't even put it all the way up to the top now that I'm looking at it. But as for the fire, I wanted some fire, but I didn't want to use actual fire decor because one, they usually have like smoke and embers coming out, and I figured even with the window closed, that might kind of be a dead giveaway. They also usually have sound effects, which can also be a giveaway, so I didn't want that noise and the extra effects. So what I ended up using were the spooky eyes from Shades Eve. I think I got two different ones. I got the sinister ones, and I'm not sure what the other ones are. Can't see if I can click either one. Okay, it's the evil and the sinister. The reason I use those is because they were kind of slanted a little bit, and it looked like flames of fire. So Yes, it flashes, so it's not like actual fire, but every now and then you'll see that they don't blink in unison, so it kind of a fake fire, not too bad. But probably if I'd had more time and a little bit more thought into some of these, I might have attempted to make more painting style type of things. I think it was when I did the gingerbread house that I kind of started thinking, maybe I could, do a whole full little box scene. And so I thought, well, I'll try it with this one. I didn't do that with any of the others, so don't have expectations for that. But I did do it for one. So I was pretty happy with how it turned out. And I have this brick piece that I've had for ages in my inventory that I hadn't used, and finally I found a way to use it. So that was an extra plus. So that is today's reveal for the holiday house. Just a few days left. Just a few days. Okay, so next I'd like to thank a couple of fellow builders for some of the gifts that they've sent along. I will say, let's hop in here. Want to say thank you to Ellie for the, whoops, running into the wall there, for the tree shelf. It is the first one that I got. They were kind enough to gift it to me. So I've used it in the skating rink room as just kind of a display for some random gifts. You'll see that I just used boxes this time, boxes and bags. And also I have been gifted, I think it was the Protostar, the little spaceship from the Space Chase event by Marshall. I have yet to put it out. I'm planning to use it as a present under the tree. I just haven't gotten around to it. And you'll notice I put an arrow here. When we had the guild event on Saturday, we had a lot of guildies that were kind of a little lost. And so I put down the gold arrow to say, that's where you go in for the secret entrance to the skating rink, because that's where we met up. And so I just kind of left it there for others that might go, what in the world, where does that go? And why is there pointing in there? And then they'll realize that that's an entrance. Because for us regulars that often use the hatch house and like to kind of find ways to disguise it or hide it or tuck it into unusual places, when we go to other houses and we don't see a prefab home, then we automatically start looking for things like this. Newer builders, not so much. So they often will just walk right by it and not even think to look under the tree for a particular little entrance or something. So leaving little clues like that often is really the way to go. I will say that you can tell I've been working on adding in the gate, the fence pieces from the Winterfest to make kind of a railing for the upper floor. Still in the process of doing that. It takes, I think I've laid down about 10 or 11 of these so far. And so I've got another 10 that I need to lay down. I tried to go as big as I could without it looking too boxy or whatever you want to call it. I also did finally take the big leap and installed the little winter mini proto house. And you're gonna have to excuse me. I'm gonna have to close down my curtain for a minute. So hold on a second. Sorry about that. I usually shut that before I get started, and I forgot. It's one of those fun things of live stuff. Anyway, I put it in, and the way I did it, the safe way to do it is if you have an existing build and you're wanting to switch out, say, a fab kit or something, maybe you already have one in place and you've built around it, or like in my case, maybe there's things there, but you left some space for it, but you know it might damage a little bit of the building when you go to place it in. Um, the safe way to install it is, of course, with Katya's add-on. She has a couple of slash commands that you use. The first one is K snapshot, no space, it's just slash K snapshot. Basically, it takes a picture, a quickie picture of everything that's on your plot at the moment that you're getting ready to install the fab kit. Then you do a slash reload UI to make sure that the K snapshot has been sent to disk, that it remembers it. And then you put down the fab kit. And when I did this one, it actually removed part of the glass here. I think it ended up being like 13 pieces that it kind of worked and created in the process. Because like I said, I tried my best to kind of plan where it was going to be and how it was going to fit in so that I wouldn't have too much trouble. But it did create 13 pieces in the process. After it was installed, I did K reconstruct, slash K reconstruct. Put the 13 pieces back and voila, there it is. It's all set and done. It is a done deal. It is there permanently now. The only thing was I didn't plan well enough with the tree. So there's a little section of the tree popping into the window, but I have taken the liberty of kind of trying to hide that fact by adding some bushes on either side of it so that it's not as noticeable as it was. So I'm just pretending that the tree is just kind of rubbing up against the glass and smearing its sap all over everything. Bones asks, is the Proto Mini House worth it? That is probably up for debate at the moment. I know I wanted it because I just want that extra little bit of room that allows me to add some kind of extra little scene or something aside from what we already have. We have the exterior, then we have now the two interiors, the bunker, the haunted house, and now we have a third that I can work on. The issues currently, I think a lot of people are fussing about is if you go to build inside the proto house, which is fairly large, it feels much bigger than the haunted house one for sure, is if you go to place an item, and let's just pick something as simple as books. You go to place it, and then if you click it, well, for me it seems to work, but others are having trouble with it, the arrows and stuff not popping up, that they can't rotate it. They can only do it this way, they couldn't do it this way. I seem to not have that issue, so maybe that's been fixed in some kind of a little quiet hotfix, I don't know. The other issue, and probably the one that will bug me the most, is that it shares the decor placed with the exterior. Unlike the haunted house shares its decor placed with the bunker house, the interior. And I guess just assumed that it would be the same with the mini proto house, but apparently it shares the decor placed with the exterior. So that's going to be kind of a pinch for me. Let me just get rid of this before I forget. Yeah, see, the advanced controls aren't coming up. I think that's the issue. So you can't and then this is for people that don't have the add-ons. I think if I open up Katya's, I can still do it this way, but for people that don't have the add-on and are using it for just uh, the usual default UIs and everything, they're having trouble manipulating because they can't see the coordinates, um, or they can't create it, that kind of thing. Um, So it may be a little bit before I actually build inside there because, of course, right now I'm pretty tight on decor place. I got like well, just over 100 left. I don't think that's going to be enough to really dress up this building like I would like. Once the winter holiday is done, I'll be, of course, removing um, the Advent house and a lot of these extra decorations and stuff. I will be putting things in their place, but probably not as elaborate as what's there. So I will have some extra decor to kind of play around with. I still have the one empty store that I have to figure out, but definitely going to have to dedicate a few hundred to the interior of this place, unless Carbine switches which kind of placement it shares. If they switch it to sharing the interior, I think that would be better for everybody else, for everyone, including myself. But if they don't, we have to plan ahead. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you're considering purchasing it, it will share currently um, the decor placed count for exteriors. So for me in particular, that becomes an issue because I have a lot of detail work that I like to do on the exterior, and that kind of eats up decor. So you kind of try and pinch and save as much as you can, and so I hesitate to think about what I'm going to do there. But I did have this little bunch out in the front, and I just decided to move them to the little side here. I know some would feel that this little house kind of ruins the view, but really there's hardly any kind of a view really. It's just snow stuff. So to me, I had already planned to add it. That was one of the things, the reasons I built the mall in the shape that I did. And so now it's there, and we'll see about how we dress it up later. Um, the I think that's it for what I wanted to talk about on my main spot. So we're going to take a off the reservation trip to my alt. Yeah, I think a lot of people will probably use it that way. One thing I do like about it, let me just go back. I said I was done, and now I'm going back. Even though it's kind of decorated up with lights and stuff, it's not too blatantly Winterfest. The only thing that might be is the little snowman here, but you can kind of just pretend it's just the workers being funny and building a replica of themselves. It's not like there's a Christmas wreath big and bold here. There's one on the door, but you could easily cover that up if you want. Um, Aside from the little string lights and things, which you could just say the money represents, proto stuff, and this one's got little proto faces on it. It could just be everyday kind of decoration. So it's not like it's permanently, every time you look at it, you always think Winterfest. It could be set up in a way that, and you could box it in if you want. I particularly don't because I'm a big fan of the Protostar guys, so I like the look of it anyway. But yeah, I think it could work for any season, really, even the way it looks now. Um, that was another plus. So there's pros and cons to it, and it really depends on what you have planned. But yeah, it'll probably be, I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know why I go here to visit another place. I guess I just like having my character in a certain spot. But we're going to visit Celery today and play around with some ideas for different decor, specifically a sleigh. I know I've seen a lot of people do different kinds of versions of sleighs, um, and I thought I really haven't. I did a sled last year, but it was more just kind of a little quickie thing. Um, yeah, you could cover it up, Bones, because that's what I did with the haunted house one. I just kind of uh, box it in with the mall, so you don't even actually see the Halloween. But that one, it really does. There's no mistaking that that's a Shadesy fab kit because of just the color, because of the colors and a lot of the decoration there. And I think my game might have crashed. I'm waiting because sometimes it'll sit there and act like it's thinking and it'll finally push it through, but it's kind of just gone black for good. Yeah, I think yep, there it went. It just went bye-bye. So hold on a second. We will be right back. Let me reload it. But yeah, I think the only thing that I don't like about it right now is that it shares the interior decor count. If they switch it to do like, to function like the podcast one, that would be perfect. And I would be very happy with it. Just logging in. I'll just log straight into, well, I don't want to go on the alt because it doesn't have all the money. Let's see if we can, you see I got like my whole army of vegetables and stuff on the side here. I took advantage of the character creation stuff for when we had the split servers. So I've got like 24 vegetable stuffs. Of course, not all of them are veggies. There's a few herbs and stuff in there, but just me being goofy. So let's try it again. Fingers crossed that it works this time. See now, I don't know what causes it to mess up. Anyway, some of you may remember Celery's plot. Obviously, I haven't done squat to this place since free to play, but still got the swimming pool here and the bingo hall inside. And I don't know what's inside. I think it's maybe the Thanksgiving stuff. Yeah, where we were planning the turkey dinner. And of course, Frank's still there. Frankie's still there. But we're gonna work on the exterior today. Just finding a spot. Let's just build it right here, I guess. And we're gonna see if we can make a sleigh. I'm not gonna get too into it. I don't think by because one, I don't think she has the plushies for it, so I can't give it like the little Rousdower team to pull it or anything. But uh, you know, when you think sleigh, a particular kind of shape comes to mind. You know, it has the little curves in the bottom of it and stuff. And I've seen some clever ideas for how to put it together. I think, what was it, Lucy did one last year with their winter plot, and we saw um, Allie's place a few weeks ago. They had one, and I know there's probably a few others out there. Um, like for example, Allie used a lot of the exile, like the curved floor or the curved wall, and then the floor, and then um, some other bits and bobbles. Like I think it was the cylinders or something for the back end. I can't remember offhand, but we're gonna try and put one together and see if we can make something that looks close to a good sleigh. The only thing that I did give her specifically for this, because you know when you're working on an alt plot, you don't share your crate, and you can't crate things from your own inventory to your alt's crate. You have to send the stuff to your alt, then your alt has to come in and put it all to crate and everything. So I did a little bit of that this morning. I crafted her some hanging clocks, and I thought the shape might work for us. I'm going on a limb here as far as assuming that it will, and we'll see if it. I like the little flary thing. Excuse me. So I figured we'd try this. Now the reason I tuck it in so you don't see this bar here is I think it looks weird with the bar in the front showing. And I don't really want to tilt it too much to hide it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide most of that bottom bar and then add something else in to the back here. But I like the shape of it. I think there's maybe one other little kind of, maybe the wolf flag. It's not called the wolf flag anymore. I think it's called flag and dagoon or something. I believe, is another craftable. So you could, try that one. Don't remember offhand what it exactly looks like, but I know it has some kind of a bar. Possibly maybe the hanging plant. Yeah, see, it's got a flare too, but I think will be the wrong. The curl is wrong. It needs to be up instead of down. So we've got a lot of little bracket things like this that I was trying to think of, and this is the one that popped into my head the most. So that's why I went with the hanging clock. So I'm just going to make sure that this is kind of square. I like building square. I say square, I'm sure that's not the term to use, but um, there we go. I just mean that, it's at a right angle of some sort. So it's not, I got these like 153.44, whatever. To start it off with something easy to remember, easy to sort out. So, wow, that doesn't look lined up at all, does it? Let's try it with world movement here. I think it's just because of the way I'm standing. It just doesn't look right. Okay, so I don't know how wide we're going to make it. I'm just arbitrarily picking a spot for the other one. Now I actually have 4 of these, and I don't know if it'll look normal with it having the curl on the back end too, or maybe the other bracket shape would be better for the back end, but this is, for me, definitely the front with those curls here. Now, you could get maybe some metal planks that you can craft and actually close that in to make the curl just follow the curve of the little hook here, and that'll get you like a front kind of a flare. You could leave it like it is, just bare metal. Let's see. I got some planks that we might use. I'll put that out. And I'm looking for, what am I looking for? Yeah, I think it's the wall shelf that I want. I don't know if all of these pieces are going to work right. I'm just pulling out things that I've got popping into my head about how, pieces I might want to use. I want to keep most of the stuff below the actual sleigh metal. So I'm picking out things that I think will work for that. Um, Obviously, a lot of times with especially a winter sleigh, you're thinking red. Um, yeah, see, it could. Let me go ahead and pop one of those out since it is purchasable straight from the vendor. Bring that a little bit closer. So they might work for like the back. Don't mind that weird plant thingy hanging, maybe like this. Let's get this straight first. Yeah, it might work for something towards the back, sort of. I don't know. Like I said, there's a few pieces that have these little brackets. It's typically wall hanging stuff. So check the wall decor or signs. A lot of the signs have different bracketry sometimes that you might can use. That one has a weird. See, like this one has another little strangely curved thing. Maybe you prefer that instead. Uh, That one, not so much. That looks more like the front of a ship. It's got the lady kind of there. If you didn't have the sign thing, I think that would work really well for the front of a ship. Anyway, there's probably a lot of the banners and flags would probably be another place to look. Like I said, the Dagoon flag would probably have a nice metal piece that you can use. But we're going to start with this in the front, and we're going to see if we can add in some body to it. So I'm going to make kind of like a framework for the bottom. And that will probably help determine the width of it a little better. Maybe I want that in the front, actually. Bring that down to 2. Like so. Look better with the curved bit there. Let's start it at this the nubbin here. To me, that makes more sense. I don't really know how a sleigh is constructed, so I'm just kind of winging it here as usual. Yeah, that just might be no, just the body, the part where you would sit and everything, the red part. Although I don't know if we're going to be able to make it red. Red is kind of limited right now. I think the big thing would probably be 2 pillows, maybe. It actually kind of worked out the sizing just about right, didn't it? It's almost like I planned it that way. Just going to bring this out a few. I don't really know if the bottom of a sleigh would have all of this metal work here. Maybe I would just actually kind of drag it down. I don't know. But I feel like I need something that would slide across the snow and whatever. Can't just be these 2 little bits for me. especially since they only go so far back. I think that feels weird. Okay, and we'll just, for the sake of using it, we're gonna add this onto the back. Maybe the curve is wrong, but this is just our version, so we're gonna go with it. I like the curvies, so. And it's cheap, easy to get a hold of. Some of the pieces, like some of the other signs and stuff, even if they have nifty little curves, maybe they're not as obtainable. Yeah, it's really just kind of what goes with it. I think I want to say it was Lucy's. Don't quote me on it. I may have just dreamed it up, but I'm pretty sure like the Oran fences, the floral fences, probably could work in some instances depending on which pieces you use and how you use them. They have a lot of that flary, curvy, curly stuff. Um, so yeah, it's up to you what you want. I wanted metal, so that kind of limits things on its own, and then I want a particular kind of look, so that further limits it. Okay, so we kind of have a base now. Now we have to think about the actual seating part. Now, uh, if you're not worried about people actually being able to sit in it, like have a functional seat, uh, you could probably go with anything, just about. But if you're wanting functional, probably the sofas would be best. And I'm going to go with green. Oh, we have red too. Let's go with, what do you think, red or green? I'm going to go with green because it's cheaper. I don't want to spend 2,000 around. See, that's what determines a lot of the things that I use. What's cheap? What's easiest to get a hold of? That's my motto. It's bad, I guess, that I do that, but no, especially if it's just something like this where we're just goofing around, you don't want to spend big money on that. Okay, so I'm going to make it the width of the framework, but probably it may change. Now, you could make this a double kind of thing where you have like the front where the person that's guiding the little group of animals that's pulling the thing would sit, and then you'd have a back seat for the passengers, but we're just going to keep it, I think, just the one, maybe the back areas for the big gift bag or something. That's true bones. Although, sometimes it helps if you kind of make it as close to realistic as you can, because then um, folks aren't left guessing, well, what is that supposed to be? If it kind of resembles what you're looking for and people can quickly guess what it is you're trying to make, then I think that's the big aim, the big goal. If you build something and someone comes in and either calls it something completely different or they just have no foggy clue as to what you're building, then that's a kind of a hint that maybe you want to brush up on that a little bit. So, play. Uh, Probably the only really red thing we have is the Chua pillows. That's if you want to go strictly red. I've seen several that use just the wooden 2x4s or the Exile floors and walls or the hover park board, the hover park stuff. We're going to go ahead and try with the Chua pillows to try and make it a traditional red colored sleigh. No promises that it's going to work. We're going to just attempt it and see how it turns out. Because the pillow itself isn't like a nice straight square. It's kind of lumpy and misshapen, and It's got one end that's a little wider than the other. Sometimes that plays to your favor, sometimes not. So again, a lot of what comes with building is through experimenting, trying things out, see how it feels, and then just go from there. So I don't even know what the shape of a place should be. I don't know if I'm making it too high off the ground or something. Maybe I should have one big piece here. I don't know. Just playing around right now with where I want to put things. I have no idea. We're gonna try it. See how it works. Let's see. So that's kind of out. So this is gonna be like the place where you'd have the gifts, I guess. Now, because of the shape of the pillow, I'm gonna change the rotation here. You can see it's still trying to do that rotate on its own thing. Thankfully, Katya's add-on fixes that. All right, Bones. Yeah, I was up about the same time, actually. I was in here checking out homes on the random visitor. Yeah, 4:45 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, just not fun at all. If you hear some weird banging noises, my husband is downstairs doing something. Supposed to be cleaning, but sounds like he's putting a hole in the wall. Okay, and it feels like maybe it needs to be smaller. Uh, for like where they would get in, maybe this one is like the door or something. Is that too small? Decisions here. I don't know what I'm doing. Go bigger for this one. Just gonna see if I can get a general shape that I like. I'm trying to keep the bottom kind of even. It's tough because, like I said, the pillow itself is kind of malformed here, but um, turn this way. flip it the other way. Maybe. Okay, so I maybe need to change the size of the little bit. Maybe a little bit more than that. Was that 275 for the one? See, the only one that doesn't look, that silly door. Probably could turn it the other way, but then it'd be a little too narrow, I think. Maybe if I add another one. To kind of even it up a little bit, would that help? What in the world is that man doing? Ah, it gives a weird little, it's like a Harry Potter mark. It's got like some lightning bolt on it. That's pretty cool looking. It was a happy accident. Let's see. Don't, it looks like it's veering off the, at an angle as well. So let me tuck these in a little bit. Yeah, I know there's some brackets showing, but I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. You know, it might be some flares or who knows what. And maybe, trying to think. Maybe we do this different. Just put these in and now I'm switching it again. Put this at an angle like so. And move out of the way so it doesn't go wah. Okay, I think I know what it is. He's vacuuming downstairs, so it's probably hitting the wall and stuff. And that's what all the noise is. You guys might not even hear it, but I do, and I'm thinking he's destroying my living room. Welcome back, Bones. Kind of taking the shape. It almost looks more like a car on a sled piece. Uh, let's see. A lot of pillows, people. Now, why did that turn all weirdly? That's come on. These still need to be smaller. My pillow's just kind of all awkward pieces now. It's, the angle's all wonky and what's that? Should be 90 and 0. Right. Trying to see if it's kind of even. It looks a little lower, I think. It's a really patched job. Yeah, see, that's too low, I think. I'll rotate this one. Maybe not. Cancel that. It's just a lot of tweaking and figuring out where you want it to go. I think I need to put this piece over here first. Barely showing, it looks like. Oof. Let's see, how does that look over here? A little bit more tucked in, so do the same on this side. It's not going to be exact because I'm not flipping the pillow this way and that to kind of match it up with the shape of it on each side. So there's probably going to be a little awkwardness on it, but just as if you can get it close, that's okay. Now we'll push this one out a little bit more. And then we can just kind of even it up. Way. Okay, it's starting to take a little shape. Excuse me. Let's see if that little Z sign shows on this side as well. I have a feeling it probably won't, but won't know until we try it. Yeah, it's a different shape this time. That's okay. Kind of the Z, sort of. The lightning bolt. There you go. A little different shape of it, but that's okay. I think I will do like what I mentioned earlier, covering these in. So now this is another one of those pieces. It's oddly shaped. It's not perfectly straight. It's got one narrow end and one wide end. So you just kind of have to, you know, go with the flow as far as how it looks. Because it's not going to be exactly the same. I just happen to have some of these pieces, so it makes it easy to kind of play around with the idea. And if it doesn't work out, then you just get rid of it. No biggie. But what I'm doing is I'm just filling in that little curve and following the line of the little hooky thing. Whether it really looks okay, that remains to be seen, but I wanted to try it, so it's actually kind of covering up the nice little hooky thing. uh, like that. Looks a little more solid, like it could really push that snow out of the way to let the rest of it glide through. Could go ahead and add another one right in that gap there. That'll work. Okay, so we still have the bottom to contend with. Now, you could use the pillows to fill it in, or you could just use some wood if you want to go that route. I think we'll try wood. See what would be a quick and easy. Maybe maybe a hover park long would work. Might have to use the short instead because that looks a little too narrow. Hey, look at that. Dailies available. This is a good way too to kind of make sure everything's lined up. You can see my the line is a little off. We'll pretend that it's fine though. We're going to drop this down. So it feels about right. Don't want to go too far down because then you'll start seeing it down here. Make it a little bit bigger. That's too big maybe. Just want it to kind of, going to be a little gappy here. I can fix that by just slanting these a little bit more. Okay, and a second one, the other side. Notice it's a little flashy, so we'll have to bump it up, bump it down just a little bit, get it to stop. Is that too far over? No, it looks okay. Okay, let's straighten these up a bit. just trying to get it to kind of be closed in on the front. So I'm tucking it down a little bit extra just to kind of seal that in. There's a weird design for you. We'll just leave it, make it look weird. Okay, so there's essentially the sleigh body. Don't like the little gappy here, but we're going to leave it anyway. Let me just clean this thing so it'll get glowing over there. So what else do we need? You could make this bigger if you really want to put a lot of gifts in the front, I mean in the back, and then maybe make the front a little further in. Looks a little too long here. Maybe you put a glass shield there. Okay, do we have some unframed? I think you could put yeah, something to kind of protect the peoples that is in the sleigh. Maybe not so dramatically there. Down a little bit. Just trying to get it to stay the one piece. I don't have to use multiples. If you want to get a little bit more fancy, you could shrink it down and use a couple of pieces to have the different frames. You could even have some on the side here, that kind of thing. We're just putting the one in. So they're protected from any, snow might be splashing up in there. If it's a motor powered one rather than one that's being pulled, you might could add some rockets or something. That one's got some red and green, so that's kind of Christmassy colors. Very dangerous kind of sleigh idea here. I don't know how it would actually work, where it would need to be put. I don't know. Kind of attach it on the back end there or something. Maybe that's too big. Yeah, Christmas stinger missile. You shoot those packages out to those kitties. Try a little smaller. Kind of want it like half on the thing and half off. So it's a rocket powered. That looks crooked, doesn't it? Need a little off on the spins. So, you don't need to harm any WildStar in pulling your sleigh. You just use some rocket power. But if you're going to have rocket power, then you have to have some way to steer it. So I guess you'd need a steering wheel of some sort. Probably the favorite is the car, the garage design lamp that you get. Looks like a muffler on one end, and then you've got the steering wheel on the other. Hey, Jay. You could use other things like plates or bowls for the steering wheel. You could use, I've seen some use the control panel thing. It's got the little, like a, like for a plane, they've got the little, see if we can get one of those. Not sure. Yeah, this one here. It's got the little like joystick thingies. You could use that. Let's see if we can get that one to work. Might be a little big for this. Let's see. What side of the, let's put it on this side better. Since you don't want it kind of floaty in there, you probably have to put something below it to kind of make it feel like it's the dashboard or something. Um, Probably more pieces of wood. Go ahead and use the same pieces we're using for the floor. Just shrink it down. This is a good opportunity for those hazard signs that WildStar has. Put those on the side, you know. Ride with caution. I think this is a bit dangerous looking. Big. Something like so. And see, it even has this little radar, so you can like have like a blip for the house that they're going to go visit. Man, it's so big I can't even get in there. There we go. This thing is huge. Look at that. There you go. Got the little ready dashboard and stuff. You know, if you want to get fancy, you could get some stuff that either has some kind of lighting or use the blue flares for the smoke. I don't think she's got any blue flares. Nope. Um, who knows what else you could use for that. Put like a little license tag down here. Have some fuzzy dice hanging off the, make it really goofy. So let's see, we want to fill it up with some goodies back here. So we'll do that. Let's just put a big sack here. Obviously, it's, you know, really big. We'll have a couple of them, like mega bags of toys. And that one, so it's not like too much the same as the other one. Maybe a little higher even. Something like that. You could put things sticking out of the bag, maybe, if you want, like it's overflowing. Just leave it like it is. No biggie. So there you have it. Rocket powered sleigh. It's one version. I mean, you could take some of these ideas and use them differently and create your own. You want to go strictly all wood, that's doable with just maybe some of the little metal bracketry. Be fine. Kind of hard to see because the plot is currently in nighttime mode, so that doesn't help. But let me see if we can shed some light on here. Get my favorite light out. This is a good tip if you are working on a plot that is either always dark or it goes dark every now and then. Plop out a little lamp or something and give yourself some light to work in. It really does help. There, you see it a little better. Our goofy rocket-powered Papa Phineas sleigh. Like I said, you know, it's just one version. It's like any other kind of decor piece that you do from scratch. There's virtually limitless possibilities and how configurations on how you can put something together. This is just my current example. If I was to trash or create this all and then do it again, it'd probably come out completely different. There might be some similarities, basically because of the pieces I use, but I'm sure the way it would be mushed together would be a little different. So that's one way to do it. And maybe it'll inspire some others into working their own. In fact, let's revisit alleys real quick. I know I don't normally do this, but trying to remember how to spell the last name. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Say real quick, and I'm like taking forever because I can't find the thread. Where is it? Yeah, okay. I want to make sure I spelled the name right. Now I'm assuming that their plot is still intact. You never know. Yeah, this is Allie's place that we visited a couple weeks ago, but I wanted to just show that there are other ways and better ways to make the sleigh than how I just did it. They also managed to use fewer pieces to pull it off. But this is their sleigh. It's just, like I said, some curved pieces of the exile wood. The floors for the bottom and the sides, and then box it in and then use the pillows for cushions. Simple, but kind of elegant in its own way to do it like that. Bomb base for easier delivery. That would be one way to do it. And maybe if I had it like kind of flying in the air and then have the little doors open with some presents floating down on balloons like they have in Fade. And that's one idea. But it's like, whoops, I can't get back to my original plot. It's like the WildStar. You don't have to use the WildStar. You could just use any of the plushy pets for the pulling it, like one big giant Yeti. If you want to have a single kind of thing. Yeah, that would definitely be the chew away to have the bomb dropping version. But I think theirs would be more metallic looking than my fluffy red thing that I put together. Um, but yeah, it doesn't have to be the full 8 or 9 little um, animals pulling the sleigh. You could have just one big one, like I said, a yeti or something that would be suitable. Um, have a row of snowmen, the little proto snow guys doing that, or maybe just little proto guys, the little proto plushies, as your little bush, little team. Um, I think that's what we're gonna call it good for today. I know it's kind of a short one, but this week is gonna be really kind of haphazard with me because, like I said, we've got guests coming over Friday. So uh, I'm all kind of in a tizzle about making sure things look nice and that everything is prepped and ready because um, I hate having to spend most of my time in the kitchen on the day that, everybody's supposed to be, having family time and stuff. So I try to get a lot of that done beforehand. So these next few days are going to be busy with doing that. Yeah, Bone. See, now I expect to have one of those things on your plot, your winter plot. That's a good idea. Anyway, I'm still planning to stream every day of this week, but it may be short little bits. I don't really think I'm going to stay on too long. Um, our guests aren't actually coming over till the afternoon on Friday, so I should have the morning um, free. But you know how sometimes things can get out of control and it may lead to that. So if I end up not streaming, my apologies, but it just be the way that it went. Because definitely the afternoon on, I will not be available because we will have company over and I will be busy entertaining them. But tip for those that are into the real life holiday celebrations, um, if you don't know what a crock pot is or have never used one before, even if you know what it is, crock pot slash slow cooker, however you want to call it, those are a wonderful treat to yourself. It's what it is kind of like a one pot kind of thing. You dump everything in that you're wanting cooked, and it just slow cooks all day, and then when it's time, it's ready. It's like a magic little little thing. That's what my last, I guess, 4 or 5 years of Christmas dinners have come from. Our main dish is always cooked in the crock pot, so it frees up oven space for other things that you want to cook. Because sometimes the trouble with big meals like this is organizing um, when things will be done so that everything's warm and ready at the same time. So juggling, if you have 3 or 4 items that need to be heated up or cooked in the oven, that can be tricky if you have only one, or if you have one in like a small toaster oven or something, it gets kind of hard to juggle that around. So if you don't know what a slow cooker is or a crock pot is, check it out. You can cook virtually anything in it, from desserts to main meals to side dishes, everything. Um, uh, and like I said, that's what I've made a whole turkey in it before. This year we're doing a ham, so it's like a, dare I say, heaven sent kind of item because it's like the Katya's builder toolkit. That is a must have for builders. Well, the crock pot is a must have for anybody that has like regular holiday entertainment where they have to make a meal for someone, because basically we're going to have all our desserts and stuff already made the day before. All the snacks and appetizers and all that will be already prepped and everything. And the main meal, we put it in that morning, that evening, you just pop it open and serve it, and it just relieves a lot of the stress of cooking. That way you can spend most of your time out in the living room with all of your family, your guests, and It just makes it so much easier. I started that up a few years ago, like I said, and I am never going back to the old way because that was just, it was a pain and a stress, and the results are consistent. You know, once you find a dish that you like, the flavors and everything, it's always the same every time. There's no kind of weirdness about maybe your oven cooks more heavily on one side or the other. This one's always consistent. Nice. Anyway, like I said, that's it for today. I thank you all for joining me. I hope you had fun with watching me build a goofy little holiday sleigh. And I hope you enjoyed the reveal for today's Advent house. Like I said, it's one of my favorite, um, probably because it is kind of like a painting. I do love doing those things. I will probably do more as time goes on. But just reminders again, if you haven't looked at the threads in the official forum and the Jabbit realm section, be sure and check out the housing competition there. There's also a separate one for entity only. Um, both are ongoing right now. Submissions are open for both. I know for sure the deadline for the one is on the 27th, so be sure and check out the threads, see what the criteria are, the rules, requirements, whatever that you need, and get your house submitted today if it fits that criteria. I know for a fact for Venus Risings, we're looking for Winterfest plots, something that has a little bit of Protostar in it. You know, we're looking to pay tribute to the Protostar Corporation. And, you know, just, you know, the more creativity, the better, obviously. So, yeah. Right now, there's only one entry on Jabbit's side, so, you know, your chances are pretty good if it stays that way. Hopefully not, but really, the more the merrier. Um, as well, we'll be back tomorrow to do the next Advent House reveal, and I'll come up with another little project that we can test out, try, put together. Either that, or I'll do a little bit more of, you know, I'll finish off the last few decor pieces that I have on my main spot and put in some new things, like maybe finish the railing on the front, at the top of the second floor or whatever, and who knows what we'll work on, but I'll think of something. And in the meantime, good luck with your own projects. That includes you, Bones. I expect to see some stuff soon-ish. And of course, Wednesday we'll be visiting some more winter plots. At the moment, it looks like we're going to be going on Exile side again. As of right this moment, I have yet to find any more Dominion ones. I do know that Nilia and the co-op plot that they have for the promotion of the Winterfest housing competition, they were working on finishing it off. When we went to visit there a couple weeks ago, it was just half done because they were waiting for the Winterfest decor to come available. So we may drop by there for that one, but I have yet to see any more winter-esque. I mean, it doesn't even have to be Winterfest or Protostar related, as long as it's got some snow, and, you know, has a decent amount of, you know, nice decoration. I can't find any. The few that I can think of that we didn't stream this month, I've already streamed before, and they really haven't added anything new, so I don't want to do any kind of repeats in that way. But I'll keep my eyes open, and maybe, you know, fingers crossed, with the housing competition now open for signups, maybe more people will check it out. Like with Annie's house, now that they've listed theirs for Exile side, I will definitely add that to we're going to tour it. Now, I will say that since I'm one of the judges, I will likely refrain, or I will try to refrain from saying, ooh, this is awesome, or that's not so awesome, and that kind of thing. I really don't want people to be offended, you know, or think that I'm like already judging them or something. I'm going to wait until the 27th, and I'm going to go house by house, and I'm going to use my little little judge's sheet to kind of be as fair as possible, but I still want to give a little, airtime to those that have taken the time to decorate. And it may help inspire others to join in, if they say, well, hey, they put something together, surely I can too. Um, that would be the main goal of me going ahead and showing some of those. But that'll be Wednesday, so we'll see what comes. If I can't find any more Dominion ones, we'll definitely be probably primarily visiting on Exile side. I think that's it. Just good luck if you are planning to enter the competitions. Good luck to you. Remember the deadline for signups on at least Venus Rising's one is the 27th of December. So you've got some time, but not a whole lot. You don't want to hold off too much longer. So any spare time you get to kind of build on it, and that goes for you, Bones. Work on it. Just be determined to get it done by the 27th and sign up. I think that's it. Can't think of anything else. But thanks again for joining me. I hope you had fun, and I hope to see you again soon. Till then, bye-bye.